Welcome into OutKick the Show. I'm your fearless leader, Clay Travis. I hope all of you are having fantastic Wednesdays wherever you may be across the country or around the world. We've got a great show. OutKick Show going to be up on FS1 tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern. In case you do not know, we have got a weekly show that airs every single Wednesday on the FS1 network, and that will be up later tonight. I think you guys will enjoy it. If you haven't checked it out yet, I wear makeup and I wear a suit jacket and I look very handsome, according to my mother. And that will be up later this evening. This is the last show of the week for OutKick. I'll be on Clay and Buck tomorrow. I'm going to be up in D.C. tomorrow, traveling up for the World Cup draw at the Kennedy Center, where everybody is going to find out what the setup is for the 48 teams that are going to be in the World Cup. 12, if I'm doing the math right, 12 different groups of 4. I'm going to be hanging out with the Fox Sports crew, so I will be up there next week. And so the next OutKick show will be with you on Monday. We are going again to have the OutKick show airing tonight that you have not seen on FS1. And I'm going to be recording with Kelly Stewart, a.k.a. Kelly in Vegas, a gambling preview for the weekend to come in college football with the conference championship games and for the NFL that is still on the horizon. Right off the top, it is National Signing Day. There are recruits coming in as we speak. I will break that down. We've got a plea from Diego Pavia for Trump to enact a 16-team college football playoff. Big results in my home congressional district, 7th Congressional District of Tennessee. Huge record of viewership for Chiefs-Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day. Big decisions on recruits. Vanderbilt football, different world than it used to be in. And Penn State falling apart in the midst of a coaching search, the likes of which I'm not sure that I have ever seen. All that, plus many other stories to dive into. But we begin with, as I am talking to all of you, at around 3 p.m. Eastern Time on signing day. Signing day has long been one of my favorite days of the year. For many of you, you'll remember that it used to occur in February. There now is a national signing day that is the signature focus that takes place in December when most of the official recruits out there sign. And so let me dive in with what the biggest stories of signing day are so far. First of all, congrats to Southern Cal. Lincoln Riley has got the number 1 recruiting class in the country. Southern Cal spent money like crazy front-loading a lot of their top commitments, and Southern Cal, as a result, is going to have the number 1 recruiting class in the country. I am using, just so you know, the 24/7 composite recruiting index here, all right? 24/7 composite recruiting index. So if you're a Rivals guy, if you're an On3 guy, if you're an ESPN rankings guy, this, to my understanding, rolls all of those different signing classes into one composite ranking. Oregon, Dan Lanning dominating, second best recruiting class. Notre Dame, third best recruiting class with Marcus Freeman. We'll talk about the college football playoff rankings and what I think the impact is there. Alabama Crimson Tide, number 4 overall. In the 5 spot, the University of Tennessee, my Tennessee Volunteers, right now with the 5th best football recruiting class in the nation. Georgia coming in the 6th spot, followed by Ohio State that has lost several different recruits today as the decision was made that Hartline, who's been a very, very popular recruiter, accepted the South Florida coaching job, and some guys have been wobbly on staying committed to the Buckeyes as a result. Texas is at 8, Texas A&M is at 9, and the U, we talked to Mario Cristobal yesterday, the U is sliding in the 10 spot. So that is the top 10 as I speak to all of you. You know who's not in the top 10? This is a collapse the likes of which I'm not sure we have ever seen. And so let me take you into the background a little bit on this. Penn State fired James Franklin at the midway point of the season after he lost 3 straight football games, and the 3-0 Penn State Nittany Lions, then ranked number 2 in the country. They lost in overtime, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, to Oregon. Then they went on the road and they lost to UCLA. And then they came back home and they lost to Northwestern. And Penn State fired James Franklin, sitting at 3-3. They did that in mid-October-ish, I believe, is when that officially ended up taking place. And so they had a ton of time to go out and hire a new coach. They were way ahead of everybody else in the decision to fire James Franklin. They now have still not hired a coach. Yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, Kalani Sitake, the head coach of BYU, said thanks but no thanks to Penn State. There are reports out there that Jeff Brom, the head coach of Louisville, these are the 2 most recent candidates, has said thanks but no thanks to Penn State. Matt Rule got a big extension at Nebraska. Who knows who else Penn State has talked to? There still is no coach, despite the fact that they fired James Franklin on October 12th. James Franklin had a top 10 caliber class at the time that he was fired by Penn State. He now has come back in. Most of those recruits have followed him to Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech right now has the number 22 overall class in America. That is a very good recruiting class. A lot of the top talent that James Franklin had recruited to Penn State has now flipped to go to the Hokies, and he is putting together a very good recruiting class there, as Virginia Tech has now hired former Penn State football coach James Franklin. Okay? Where is Penn State, you might be asking? Can we pull up this graphic? Producer Adam, I believe, has got the most recent data on Penn State. Penn State has fallen. I'm going to find out where they are in the recruiting class rankings. We've never seen anything like this. Now, you can say, oh, NIL, where are they right there in the list that you have, Adam? Text me the exact rate because I can't see the graphic. I know they're in the 150-ish range because I have been going through and watching it. They are 164 in the On3 composite recruiting class rankings, okay? I am in the On3 rankings. I'm going to look right now at the composite rankings. We've never seen anything like this. Penn State right now has the 150th best recruiting class in the country according to the composite rankings. They're even lower than that in On3. They have 2 commitments right now. I don't know if those commitments are going to stay with Penn State or not. You might be saying, okay, where does that put Penn State? What kind of recruiting class ranking area are they in? Towson. Towson has the 146th best recruiting class in the nation. They are above Penn State. West Georgia. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I didn't even know that West Georgia was a school. They have the 147th best recruiting class in the nation. McNeese, 148th. I think it's McNeese State, 148. South Dakota State, 149. To give Penn State credit, they're above Prairie View A&M. They're above Howard. They're above Alabama State. They are narrowly above Princeton, Utah Tech, Central Arkansas, Portland State, and Furman are nipping at their heels. This is an unmitigated disaster. Now, Penn State people can say, well, in an NIL era, Clay, it doesn't. No, it matters. You can't have this bad of a recruiting class and think, oh, we're going to compete with Michigan and Ohio State. The reason that you fired James Franklin was because he couldn't win the big game. You can't even hire a coach to replace him. You can't even go out and put together a recruiting class without him. I've never seen incompetence like this, and I have lived through, trust me, a lot of incompetence when it comes to the Tennessee coaching searches of the past. I don't even know what they're going to do. In fact, let me go on. I like you can gamble now on or predict. You can predict, not gamble. You can predict who the next coach is going to be at Penn State. And let me see what the latest market shows us on who the Penn State coach is going to be. I think they're going to end up just having to elevate the interim because there's nobody else out there. Yeah, the expected head coach now is Terry Smith. Now, maybe this is so embarrassing that they just go out and try to grab anybody at this point. Second place right now is Brian Dable, who was just fired by the Giants. Maybe they decide to go try to just hire somebody from the NFL. But the favorite right now is for them to just promote the interim. So you went from firing James Franklin because he couldn't win the big game to having no recruiting class, losing all your freshman top players, and you still don't have a job filled, despite the fact that everybody else is out there filling their job. This is embarrassing. Okay, let's go into the college football playoff rankings themselves. I talked about this a lot. We already taped it on the OutKick show that'll be on FS1. To me, the biggest singular takeaway from the college football playoff rankings were Alabama getting above Notre Dame. Notre Dame is 10. Alabama is 9. In the 11 spot is BYU, and in the 12 spot is Miami. If BYU loses to Texas Tech, as they are expected to do, I'm telling you right now, Notre Dame is not going to be in the college football playoff. They're going to put Notre Dame and Miami side by side in the rankings, and what the committee is letting you know basically with these predictions is they are going to take head-to-head into account. Both teams finished 10-2. Notre Dame is not going to make the college football playoff, and Miami's going to get in. Now, we talked with Mario Cristobal. Open invite if Marcus Freeman wants to come on the program and make the case for why Notre Dame should get in. Heck, if Kalani Sitake wants to make the case for why BYU should get in. BYU's candidacy is actually really simple. All they have to do is win the Big 12 championship game, and they would be in. And if that happened, if BYU won, I think Texas Tech would stay in. And then I think neither Notre Dame nor Miami would get in. Now, some people are saying, okay, what happens, Clay, if Alabama loses to Georgia? Alabama's going to be in the playoff unless they got totally blown out and we had a situation where Ty Simpson got injured. If that happened and Ty Simpson were going to be out for the rest of the playoff, I could see Alabama getting looked over at that point in time. But barring that level of collapse, I don't see any way that Alabama, as the overall SEC champion, because they would have won the tiebreak, I don't see any way that Alabama is not going to be in the playoff. So that's my big picture analysis of the college football playoff rankings that came out yesterday. Let me go back to signing day for a minute. It's a new world order. NIL has changed the game in a substantial way when it comes to recruiting classes. And I actually think Vanderbilt University is a great example of this. Today, Vanderbilt flipped five-star quarterback Jared Curtis from Georgia to Vanderbilt. He's a Nashville area kid. They also flipped wide receiver Owen Cable from Alabama to Vanderbilt, also a Nashville area kid. That has never happened in the history of Vanderbilt football. There has never been a signing day flip of Jared Curtis, the top quarterback, according to many services out there. You can see it up on the screen. And Owen Cable, who is a very highly sought after wide receiver that had been committed to Alabama, that he is going to flip his signing to Vanderbilt too. Vanderbilt has real juice right now under Clark Lee and my friend Barton Simmons, who is their recruiting GM. And they are going to sign the best recruiting class that Vanderbilt has signed in a very, very long time. There is some juice, there is some hotness when it comes to West End Avenue and Vanderbilt football and the success that they are having. Now, the question is going to be, is it going to follow Diego Pavia and go down the drain, or have they built a foundation that is bigger than any one player. And so when Diego Pavia leaves, I think Diego Pavia, by the way, should get the Heisman Trophy. Will Vanderbilt be able to sustain success? This recruiting class is telling you, hey, Vanderbilt is going to attain success. And we will see what ends up happening there. But it's a new world order when you have recruits choosing not to go to Georgia, not to go to Alabama, but to go to Vanderbilt instead. So that is my signing day take out there. Now, Diego Pavia has come out. Again, I think he should win the Heisman Trophy. He went on social media and asked President Trump, hey, will you issue an executive order to give us a 16-team playoff? Now, this is funny because a lot of people are just kind of laughing at it, and it is a funny idea. We played yesterday Marco Rubio saying, hey, Miami should be in. But I was actually thinking about this more. If Trump did sign the executive order to mandate a 16-team playoff, Vanderbilt would get in. You would get BYU probably in. You would get Texas in, right? As you look at the rankings, those are all states that voted for Donald Trump. And you can pull my tweets up here too. I actually put on my lawyer hat and tried to run through and think about it. Is there anyone that could stop the president from mandating a 16-team playoff via executive order? Certainly there could be lawsuits. Who would be the plaintiffs in a lawsuit like this? The only people I can think who would sue are the 4 teams that would otherwise get a bye. But would their fan bases really be upset if they got to host a home playoff game and were favored to win that home playoff game? I'm not sure that they would be. And the president signed an executive order that said men can't compete in women's sports, and everyone just accepted it. I think there is an argument out there that if the president said there should be a 16-team playoff and I'm signing an executive order to mandate it, I actually think that there is an argument that it would work. And some of y'all are going to say, Clay, you're crazy. There's no way imaginable this is going to work. I don't know that that's true. I think it might work. Now, you would need additional games, right? You would have to play, instead of a 12-team, 8-team first round, you would have 3 additional games, if I'm doing the math right, which I think I am. And so you would have 3 schools that needed to host a home playoff game. Am I doing the math right here? I think I am. Because you'd have a 16-team playoff, so you would have 8 first-round games instead of 5 first-round games, right? Again, you guys correct me if I'm wrong on the math here. I think it would actually be pretty popular. I think it would actually be really popular, and I'm not sure that the lawsuits would stop it from happening. So anyway, that is Diego Pavia asking if he could get the right to make that happen. Okay, a couple of other different things out there. Adam, will you text me our Prize Picks read if you would? And in the meantime, I want to pull up the NFL ratings. The NFL ratings for the Cowboys game when they hosted the Chiefs, 57.23 million people watched Thanksgiving football, as I did, as I bet most of you did. Putting that in context, now they've changed the way that they count viewership, so that certainly is benefiting here. This is the most watched, think about this for a minute. This is the most watched NFL regular season game of all time. So the NFL is white hot. I believe 47 million people watched the Fox game, which was the earlier in the day kickoff between the Packers and the Lions. Okay, here's a new pick for you on Prize Picks. James Cook, more than 1/2 rushing and receiving touchdown. Jonathan Taylor, more than 1/2 rushing and receiving touchdown. And Justin Herbert, over 1/2 passing touchdown. If we are correct in this, then we will win out nearly 3-1. nearly 3-1. The episode brought to you by Prize Picks. It's the holiday season, best time of year for sports, bowl games, basketball going on. There are tons of events going on every single night. You can play in California. You can play in Texas. You can play in Georgia. Download the Prize Picks app. When you play $5, you get $50 deposited into your account. That is $5 that deposits $50 into your account. When you use code OutKick, you can play in 40 states all over the country. You're going to love it. Prize Picks, lots of fun. PrizePicks.com or the Prize Picks app. Code OutKick for $50 when you play $5. Okay. A couple of other stories that are out there. American Eagle stock is soaring right now because they had the good grace and intelligence to put Sydney Sweeney in an ad talking about her good genes. If you forgot about this summer controversy story, they said that Sydney Sweeney saying she had good genes because she had blonde hair and blue eyes was racist. Actually, it was super, super smart. And the stock, if you just saw that Sydney Sweeney was going to start doing ads for American Eagle, remember your boy used to work at American Eagle, Rivergate Mall, shout out back in the day. If you just saw that Sydney Sweeney was going to be going in to do these ads, and you just thought to yourself, you know what? Pretty girl selling gene ads. This feels like something that's going to be successful. And you bought stock in American Eagle when this campaign started. You've made 120%. You have, if you saw that graphic, more than doubled your overall money just by looking at that and saying, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and take advantage of this. Congrats. All right, let's go back. I mentioned the 7th Congressional District of Tennessee. Congratulations to Matt Van Epps kicking Afton Bain's ass. Some of the reactions were to say, well, this only happened because Clay Travis is a white supremacist, and look at what the overall setup is. And if we pull up that tweet, this was somebody criticizing me. I'll see if I can pull it up, and I will read exactly what I was said. You know, I don't know if we can get bigger monitors in here. Is it possible to get a bigger monitor so whenever we put up tweets, I can actually see them because I'm an old man and this is far enough away that I can't see the tweets? Idea. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if there are bigger monitors that I would be able to see. But I did think it was entertaining when somebody said, man, suburban Williamson County just absolutely nuked Afton Bain. Probably Van Epps won by 24%. People showed up in my home county of of Williamson County, and Afton Bain got beat as a result. And somebody posted, that place, meaning Williamson County, where I live, God's country, Franklin, Brentwood area, just south of Nashville. That place is a white supremacist haven. A bunch of far-right pundits live there, like Matt Walsh and Clay Travis. And I just thought that was funny. And I responded, yes, Franklin and Brentwood, awful white supremacist hellholes. You should definitely not move here. It's a great place. Congratulations, Williamson County. I'm glad they showed up in big numbers and got the vote out to kick Afton Bain's ass. And some people say, oh, this is a warning sign. I don't think it's a warning sign. Turnout is always low in special elections. Here's a prediction for you. In the 2026 election, that is next year, I believe that the Republican candidate will win this seat. You can flag it. You can come back to it next year about this time, 11 months from now. He will win this seat by, Matt Van Epps will be running again, by 18 or more. Like, this is not going to be a close seat. And in fact, this is a data point that I thought was interesting. There's a big debate right now about whether red states are becoming redder or are all these transplants going to make things bluer. This is from Marsha Blackburn when she ran in 2018. The same district, Tennessee 7, was close to a toss-up between her and Phil Bredesen. And they reformatted it. Same setup now. They've redistricted quite a lot. And now it's not remotely close. Tennessee is getting redder. The people who are moving here are red voters even more. And I am very optimistic about this. And I say this as a guy who was born and raised in Tennessee and born and raised in the middle part of the state. I love the people that are moving here that are making, I think, this community even better than it already was. And it was pretty fantastic in the first place. So I welcome all these people with open arms into my hometown, into my home state. Okay, let me see what else we got out there that I need to talk about. Fan mail. We got some fan mail. This came in for Buck and me that was shared from our staff up in New York City. Someone wrote, it gave us nice. It was nice of them to put the date on it. November 28th. Clay Boobs Travis, Buck O. Sexton are obnoxious, toxic, balls-washing, servile, Trumpkin toadies. America last. Boobs and Bucko are not their own men. Trump owns them. Trump is a psychopath. Thanks for my fan who sent this in Jacksonville, Florida. I couldn't do it without you. Okay. I think we've got everything. I think I basically hit everything that I want. Oh, one more thing. Stranger Things review. Last night, to celebrate the big win in Tennessee's 7th Congressional District, I sat down with the Travis boys and watched the final 2 episodes. We watched the first 2. What day of the week is it? First 2 on Monday, second 2 on Tuesday night. High endorsement from me on Stranger Things Season 5. Now, people always say, like, what's age appropriate, whatever else. I'm probably a little bit lenient on this stuff. I don't really care about language that much. I don't care about violence that much. My 5th grader loves this show. My 9th grader loves this show. My senior in high school, sounds crazy to say, my senior in high school also loves this show. We all are big fans. My wife likes the show. Stranger Things Season 5, I endorse. I don't want to give any spoilers because I know this thing only came out on Thanksgiving Day. So a lot of you probably haven't gotten around to it. I think it's the most popular show already Netflix has ever had. But strong endorsement from me. First 4 episodes of Season 5. 3 more are coming out, I believe, on Christmas Day. So we will be, or thereabouts, probably be watching those. And then the finale is going to be out on New Year's Eve. Producer Adam tells me that it's going to be in theater some places. I think I'll be down in Florida on New Year's Eve if they are having it in a theater near me. That would be a super cool experience to go watch the finale in a theater, but I highly recommend it. Other than football, I haven't been watching anything on television at all. So, love all of you. DBAP unless you need to SBAP. I am Clay Travis, and this, as always, has been OutKick the Show. We're going to do the fade. Encourage you to watch the OutKick Show tonight on FS1. And we'll be back on Monday. I'm going to be up in D.C. For the draw with the World Cup. And I'll be away for a couple of days, but I'll be back with all of you on the OutKick Show on Monday. Thanks for all the support. And watch us tonight on FS1. And you will see me tomorrow. I'll do Clay and Buck, and then I'll be up in D.C. You may see me surrounding the World Cup announcement. See y'all then. DBAP unless you need to SBAP. This has been OutKick the Show.